What's going on, guys, ladies, whoever's watching this video? Hey, real quick, I want to finally give my prediction on who I think is going to win the Errol Spence Jr. versus Crawford fight. You know, I want to say this. A lot of these YouTubers that got channels, a lot of time, man, they sugarcoat and they be on both sides. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to call it how they really see it because they're afraid that they're going to upset people. They're going to upset their subscribers. People going to unsubscribe, or they're going to hit the thumbs down button on their video. So they play both sides. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while to come up with this prediction because I wanted to be fair. I didn't want to be biased. I went back and I watched some of these fights, some of their old fights, some of Errol Spence's old fights, some of Crawford's old fights, and I wanted to make sure that my assessment was correct from the information that I have been given by these two world-class fighters. So, after watching some of Errol Spence's fights, after watching some of Terrence Crawford's fights, I finally come to a conclusion on who I think is going to win. Now, this is just a prediction. Doesn't mean it's going to be fact, right? No prediction is fact. If that's the case, if I knew that, I would put all my money down on the sports books and I would be the richest man alive, right? So, all we can do is give a prediction and analyst on what we think. But you can't be scared to say what you think. You can't be scared to upset people because somebody's going to be, there's only two people fighting. You only can pick one unless you're saying it's going to be a draw. So we got Errol Spence Jr. 28-0, 22 knockouts. He's like 5'10", 72-inch reach. Then you got Terrence Crawford, who's like, what they say, he's like 5'7", I think, or 5. They got him listed at 5'8", which he's probably a little bit shorter. He might be 5'7", but we'll give him 5'8". About 5'8", and he's got a 74-inch reach. So I want to go over their abilities and the stuff that they're good at doing, both fighters, right? Because this is how I come up with my assessment. You know, I looked at Crawford's fights. I saw that Crawford, overall, he's a little bit more athletic than Errol Spence. I think he got more power than Errol Spence. I don't think Crawford is a real switch hitter, right? I think he's really just a southpaw. Everybody labels him the switch hitter. Unless somebody can send me a fight where he's fought the whole fight right-handed as his dominant hand, I can't call him a switch hitter. Fighting in the orthodox stance for 15, 20 seconds in the first round, and then you switch for southpaw the rest of the fight, you a southpaw, right? So I label him as southpaw. He's not an orthodox fighter. He's not a switch hitter. Can he switch? Sure. I mean, I'm sure Earl can too. But he's not fighting predominantly in the orthodox stance. It's not even 50-50. It's predominantly southpaw, right? So he's probably the more athletic fighter. He probably has the more natural power. I'll give him that. But when it comes to, okay, so now let's come to the technicals, right? Who has the better jab of the both fighters? I think I would give that to Errol Spence. Errol Spence has the best jab between the two. They both have great jabs. I think Errol Spence is a little bit better. Ring generalship. Who can move around the ring, left to right, side, back and forth? You got to give that to Crawford. Body shots. I got to give that to Errol Spence. Errol Spence goes to the body the best. Now, the thing about Crawford that separates him from a lot of guys is his ability to make adjustments. Crawford can make adjustments. We've seen him do it several times in different fights. We've seen Crawford hurt in several fights, and he's able to make adjustments. You don't become a undisputed champ. You don't become a champ in multiple weight classes unless you are an elite fighter. So, without a doubt, Crawford is an elite fighter. He does make adjustments beautifully, right? Now, the flip side of that is Errol Spence. I hear it all the time. Errol Spence cannot make adjustments. Errol Spence, we haven't seen Errol Spence fighting backwards. We haven't seen Errol Spence move from the pocket and make fighters miss and all this. Okay. Let's take that. You ain't seen it because he ain't had to do it. Have you heard that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Right? Errol Spence has not fought anybody that has made him have to fight going backwards. He ain't fought nobody that's made him have to fight in a pocket or move side to side. You're not going to just make an adjustment in a fight for nothing, right? If Crawford's fighting orthodox and it's not working, then he has to switch to southpaw. That's an adjustment. The orthodox wasn't working for him. If he has to fighting backwards, that means somebody's applying pressure to him. That's why you see him make adjustments. Errol Spence fights. He's not like he's fighting like Madonna, right? So he's not a wild fighter. He applies technical, smart pressure behind a jab. He's technically sound with his hands up. He's going to the body. He applies a lot of pressure, and he breaks people down. The opponents he's fighting have not made the adjustments to make Errol have to make adjustments. You're not just going to fight. If Errol's walking you down, why would he just start fighting walking backwards? Does that make sense? If Errol can get you out of there with a pressure, why would he fight any other way? He hasn't been in a fight to where we've seen him have to make an adjustment. The only fight that he was in where I thought he was losing until he won was the Kell Brook fight. I thought Kell Brook was outboxing him, but the pressure was breaking Kell Brook down over the rounds, right? So whatever he was doing was working. So now that we got that out the way of why we haven't seen Errol make adjustments, that don't mean he can't make adjustments. We just ain't seen it yet. We haven't seen him do it. So we can't say that he can't do it. We just haven't seen him be in a situation to where he has to do it. So, based on what I've seen these last few fights, I believe, okay, hold on, let's go with the chin. Let's talk about the chin before I go on to tell you who I think will win. Errol Spence has probably the best chin of the two fighters. We haven't seen Errol Spence hurt. I've seen Crawford hurt numerous times. Gamboa fight, he was hurt. He fought Riddick, he was hurt. Red Chick, sorry, whatever his name is, Ivan. He was hurt. We haven't seen Errol Spence really hurt. I haven't seen him hurt where he's wobbled or staggered. So we know he got a good chin. Neither fighter has been knocked out or knocked down. So the fight is not going to end in a knockout or knockdown. Who I got winning July 29th when they step in the ring, I got Errol Spence, the Truth Jr., beating Crawford, unanimous decision. It's going to the scorecards. And here's why. I believe that Errol Spence is catching Crawford at a good time. I think that right now, Errol Spence is at the pinnacle of his game. And I think Terrence Crawford is on the decline of his game. I went back and watched the last 5-6 fights. Go all the way back to watch Crawford's fight when he fought Benavidez at 147. He's moving around the ring. He's bouncing. He's elusive. He's throwing the jabs more energetic. As you watch the fights progress from when he fought Khan, Brook, to Porter, all the way to David Avanesian. When he fought David Avanesian, Crawford is not the same fighter physically. I'm not saying he still ain't got the power, he still ain't got the pop. His legs are not the same. I'm gonna want y'all to see this. Now, granted, this guy is not even throwing a lot of punches. He's not even bringing a lot of power, a lot of pressure to him, right? He's slower. See how he's real swingy with his hands now. He's not really using his legs. He's not real bouncy no more. You got to watch this whole fight to really see what I'm talking about.
No, I think he got Father Time in the chokehold right now.
Why are you talking about Father Time?
I'm looking at Crawford. He's not overreacting. He's not being
He's more stationary now. Crawford is more stationary. His legs are not the same. Okay, so now I know that's gonna ruffle some feathers, whatever. That's just my take, my assessment, what I've seen. Errol Spence is bringing a lot of volume, a lot of pressure. Do I think Crawford is still dangerous? Yes. I don't think he's an old man. I think he's still got enough in the tank to make the fight interesting, make the fight tough. I just think that his mobility is not the same. I don't care who you are. If you was born a person, you gonna die and age like a person. There's nobody on earth that Father Time does not get. Most athletes retire between the ages of 35 and 40. Go back and watch Floyd Mayweather when he fought Zab Judah, when he fought Carlos Baldomir, when he fought Ricky Hatton, when he fought Corrales. Is that the same fighter that fought Manny Pacquiao? No. Is Shane Mosley the same fighter when he fought Floyd? Was he the same fighter as he was when he fought De La Hoya? As he was when he fought Vernon Forrest? No, he wasn't the same fighter. Terrence Crawford is a great fighter. I'm not taking nothing away from him. I think Errol Spence is catching Crawford at the right time. I think Crawford has lost some mobility in his movements. He's not moving around the ring like he was. He has to fight more stationary in the pocket, just like he did with Sean Porter. He was losing that fight. I don't even want to talk about that fight because that fight pissed me off. But he's not, and he ain't got the Floyd Mayweather defense, right? To where when you slow down, you can still pick people apart because your defense, he don't have that. Neither does Errol Spence. So these guys are relying on the offense, right? Just like Errol Spence relies on his offense to be his defense as well, right? Same thing with Terrence Crawford. I think the fight's going to be close some rounds. I think as the fight gets over to the later rounds, I think Spence is going to outpoint Terrence Crawford. He'll probably win 7 rounds, 8 rounds to 4, at 7 rounds to 5. There ain't gonna be no knockout. Nobody's getting knocked out. Errol Spence is gonna outpoint Terrence Crawford. I think he's catching him at the right time. People say, well, he's only 2 years older. 2 years makes a lot. 2 years makes a difference. 2 years makes a difference. 1 year makes a difference. 1 month can make a difference. So I think had Errol fought Crawford 5 years ago when they really wanted to make the fight happen, they was both at the top of their game, we might be talking about something different. But I think Spence is catching him at the right time. I think Spence has the youth on his side. I think he's going to apply the pressure, and he's applying smart. And this ain't no Madonna where he's just swinging carelessly, right? The pressure is methodically. He's using his jab. He's going to the body. It's not slide. I mean, yeah, everybody gets out of position every now and then. But he's applying smart pressure. And I think that's going to win the fight for Errol Spence. That's my take on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think.